Hey everybody, happy Saturday and welcome to Yes You Can on Equality TV. I am Jennifer Alyse and it's good to see you again. I was not with you last week. I was actually with family enjoying a week out of town and it was fabulous and I'm glad to be back. And this week I thought I'd talk to you guys about something that's been a big conversation over the last 7 days in my circle, and that is food and drugs. And, I've had a lot of conversations recently about, death and illness and what's going on with people in their lives. And everybody is, dealing with something. And I was just really surprised at how many people that I talk to that are not eating well. They're immediately going to, big pharma to heal their ailments. And I have friends in my life whose family members are going through chemo because it will heal them. And the more I talk to the ones that I love and the friends that I have and whatnot, I was really surprised at how, I'm going to say it, in the dark, I think they are about Western medicine and big pharma. And, I just felt like we've all just followed this trend that has absolutely become a reality with thinking that the medical industry is here to heal us. And listen, I'm not against the medical industry completely. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely want them there if I am shot or have broken a bone. I definitely want them there. But I think that we've become so programmed to just go straight for the pills or straight for the quick fix. And the more I talk to people, the more I realize that there's very little education about what's going on, in the natural world, the naturopaths, the holistic world. And I think that we need to wake up to what's going on. There's been, as you know, a big conversation about GMOs for the last few years. And I'm even shocked at how many people seem to be sort of out of the GMO loop. And the more I talk to people, the more I realize there needs to be a more personal conversation. There's a huge national, even worldwide conversation going on about the GMOs and what they're doing to our food and what's being allowed into our country. And just this week I was talking to some family members about tilapia and how, the tilapia that comes into our country, primarily from Asia, but Philippines and China is really where it's coming from. There are some really disgusting practices on how they feed the tilapia. I suggest you look it up because they're actually feeding tilapia, the stuff you eat in your fish tacos, human waste. And this is being allowed, and there is video and images and unbelievable articles that are being written about this, but there's nothing to stop it. So from the conversations about GMOs to what's being allowed in our country, I know that just this week, France lifted a ban on GMO products, and it's just shocking to me, that so many people turn a blind eye. And the way that I've lived my whole life, and I know you too, but I'm sure that it's not this way necessarily with everyone I've lived my whole life knowing that I can't unhear what I've heard, and that if I hear that something is not good for me, and by the way, tilapia is my favorite fish. Have I had it since? No, I haven't. It's killing me, by the way, because it is my favorite. But you can't unhear this stuff. And just today I was talking to a family member about their mom and how she's very young, and yet she's struggling terribly, and she has honestly, for her entire life, just eaten whatever she wanted, and any crap that comes across, her table is just fine. And here she is in her early 70s, and she's struggling to walk, and she doesn't remember things and doesn't understand why her body is failing her. Well, frankly, I don't either. 70 isn't what it used to be. I look at my mom, and she's golfing, she's working out weekly. She's out there doing these great things at 66. Sorry, Mom, if I'm off, but 66, 67, something like that. And when I look at someone who's 4 years older, I just think, this is just not okay. And yes, I guess we could chalk it up to genes, fine. But I think we all need to wake up and think about what we're putting in our bodies. And I know there's a huge juicing trend going on right now, and I'm actually one of them that's on that juicing trend. But when you see a movie like Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, where you have major ailments like diabetes and huge skin diseases being turned around within just 30 days, 30 to 60 days, it's hard to deny that what we put in our body, the fuel that keeps us running, is a huge conversation that needs to be had with everybody that we love. You know, I was just today giving out a lot of information about essential oils. I have a really bad back, and it's just from an injury when I was in a car accident when I was 22. But now at 43, I'm dealing with it, and it's something that wakes me up in the middle of the night. And I've been using essential oils to get rid of the pain. And when I just today put, I guess it was peppermint oil on my back, within 30 minutes I had full mobility and zero pain. I mean, zero pain. That's incredible. And it's a pure essential oil with absolutely no additives. You know, if you think about what we're seeing and what's going on in the world, you know, with our food, and if you're just starting to learn about this, I recommend that you look strongly into GMOs. I recommend that you look strongly into what's being put in our water. You know, what's really being healed, if we're incredibly blatant, what's truly being healed in our country. You know, over the last month, I guess it is, I've been very interested in alternative treatments because of my little diagnosis, and I've been amazed at what I have found about cancer cures that are not accepted in this country. And it's not because they don't work, it's because our pharmaceutical industry is so locked down within our government that they're not allowing people to come into this environment with cures. And if they do, it's costing upwards of $100 million. I have a girlfriend whose father is in Africa right now because he came from Canada with a cure for cancer and could not get through, spent tens of millions of dollars, could not get his cure approved. And it was not because it wasn't approved, it was because of the $100 million that was needed. And he's now practicing, let me change that, curing cancer in Africa. I mean, it's extraordinary to me that we are so blind to what's going on. And I just recommend that you guys start having this conversation. You start digging a little bit deeper. Just today I was talking to a friend of mine, and she had no idea about a lot of this. And so I sent her all this stuff via email, and she was saying to me, how could I have not known? And while I was thinking it doesn't matter to place blame and put anybody into a I knew before you kind of ridiculous place, because that's not what it's about. But I felt like it was my responsibility to let her know what's going on. So I just want you to think about what you're putting in your body. You know, your body is needing the right fuel. And if you're suffering from depression, if you're suffering from fatigue, if you're suffering from memory loss, if your body is aching, there are ways to naturally get around this. And it doesn't have to be by popping, pharmaceutical drug to get rid of that pain or to mask that pain so that you don't feel it any longer and don't have to think about the repercussions. Going the natural route, whether it's through juicing, whether it's through, putting more vegetables into your diet, whether it's into essential oils, maybe it has something to do with, Eastern medicine. The fact is, there are ways to heal our body that we're just not even acknowledging. There's even the book out that's called Clean Gut that I'm actually going to start reading tomorrow, that is all about this leaky gut syndrome, and people that are experiencing really bad stomach issues, and they can't figure out where their fatigue comes from, and memory loss and joint pain and all of this stuff. And it's because our Western med doctors are not actually even acknowledging that this exists. And so I guess what I'm trying to encourage you to do is just wake up. And if you already know this, which I know a lot of you do, you got to share this. I mean, you can't unhear what you've heard. And there are so many people in my life that are just not wanting to get on it, the kick, and not wanting to be a part of the craze and all of that. In fact, I was just talking to a friend 2 weeks ago who works in the food industry, and I was asking him about, the whole GMO thing, and I was asking him about what he thought about gluten-free stuff, and he said to me, it's just a phase. And I said, so you think that this is all a phase? And so are you doing anything for this phase in your company as a manager there to make changes to accommodate this phase? I mean, it would seem to me that that's at least a good business decision right now while the phase is going on. And he said, nah, it'll be over in a year. There's just a blindness. And I don't want us to be caught up in that, because your body, your herbivore body, isn't really made up to eat these harsh foods, chemicals, break down all this beef that we eat and all of that. And while I know it's not for everybody, don't get me wrong, I do think that we need to pay attention to the ailments that are happening around us, and we need to really listen to what our body's saying. It's not normal to eat the way that the vast majority of Americans do, and I know that we are in a place where, it's cheaper to eat bad food, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper to eat good food and then have to deal with the medical side of the issues later on in life. So anyway, guys, that's it. I just wanted to encourage you to, read up, speak up, and maybe even watch the movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I think it's something that we could all learn from. And look into essential oils. I think there's some great stuff there, and there are some great remedies that a lot of us aren't even considering. So that's it. It's great to see you. I will definitely see you next week. And don't forget that we have the I Am Equality campaign happening all over the world in 3 weeks from today. It's very exciting. Go to our I Am Equality page on Facebook and check it out. It's a really cool thing happening. And don't forget to like Equality TV, as well as subscribe so you can get these videos every week. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm on Twitter at @hostjenalyse, and you can email me at JenniferAlyse@ymail.com. Okay, guys, that's it. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in a week. See ya.